Good afternoon, Britannia, and hello to the rest of the world. Welcome to 2CTV, the channel that challenges the mainstream media and the political establishment, from the left-wing nutters to the globalist elite. Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting today's videos by focusing on what happened this weekend in Londonstan. Sadiq Khan's Londonstan, the Islamic State of London at this point. Chaos and mayhem as usual. A huge number of people have been arrested. A small group of British Patriots decided to stand up in two or three different groups. We had one counter-protest group led by the London Jewish community. You had the London Christian community also rising up, and of course the rest of the British Patriots with Union flags and the American flags. Again, small group decided to stand up for the majority of this kingdom. Today we also have a very busy schedule on 2CTV because we are going to be talking about what happened last night with Hezbollah in Lebanon. We're going to talk about what's been going on with the IRGC leaders, all dying left, right and centre. We are going to be talking about the socialist government of the UK and the issues with Keir Starmer and Sue Gray, and a number of other stories as well. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's start. Yesterday, we had yet another Islamist disturbance on the streets of London. As we get closer to the anniversary of the 7th of October, we have less than 24 hours to go. People came out partly to celebrate what happened last year. We have the videos, we have the evidence to show you. We also had people to come out for the first time in a long time in London to proactively show support for Islamist terrorist organizations. Now, over the last year, we've had a number of these so-called protests across the world, and in many cities, especially Paris, Berlin, Toronto, many other Western countries, we've seen more violence and more proactive support for Hamas, Hezbollah and those guys. In London, they've always tried to hide their true agenda. We've had a few examples over the last few months of certain flags, for example, the black flag of Islam being shown and everything else. A number of people have been arrested before, but this time, the masses, they all came out, all chanting the names of Hezbollah leaders, the IRGC, Hamas, defending them, supporting them, and the Metropolitan Police were all over the place. Let's start with giving you guys the videos that we have. This shows the crowd overall in terms of yesterday, and we're going to show you then, of course, the counter protesters and everything else that happened. Let's go. So as you can see, there was a huge group that decided to come out once again, and no condemnation from the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. As usual, it got worse thanks to, of course, the Ink Monocle for being there, good friend of 2CTV, to report this. Of course, yesterday I was at a wedding, so I couldn't actually attend this so-called march myself, but we had people obviously there to make sure we have all the evidence for you guys for 2CTV. This is the first evidence. This man, who needs to be identified by the police, said freedom fighters, and then it said they will finish you all off by pointing out towards the Jews and the Christians in the counter-protest group. Let's go to this video, and then of course we have some more reaction as well. Finish you all off. That's what we're dealing with. These are the people who also managed to convince a lot of people on the political left and the champagne socialists in the UK to join their marches by saying, don't worry, this is simply a march to support the innocent Palestinian civilians. That's what they say. So A lot of people go there. A lot of the white English people go there and say, oh yeah, this is nice, isn't it? Oh wow, what are you saying? Genocide? Oh, okay. But then they still continue to march with them anyway. Resistance is justified, according to this man carrying the sign of Free Narnia, Palestine, of course. Once again, these guys have been allowed to do this for a long time. Watch this.
The Muslim Brotherhood, mate. Do you agree with Muslim Brotherhood? Do you agree with Muslim Brotherhood? Do you agree with Muslim Brotherhood?
Resistance is justified. It's interesting because when the Iranian people are doing resistance against the Islamic occupiers, and when they are doing their uprising, and even 2 years ago when they started the massive uprising against the Islamic Republic of Iran, these people were nowhere to be seen. I thought resistance was justified. What they mean is terrorism is justified. Then things got out of control. This clip is actually from the Telegraph. This is where the violence started and the police were struggling, but they ended up actually arresting a huge number of them. Let's go. Lovely and peaceful, of course. Now, again, if you're watching this live, we will get your reaction from all the super chats that will come in as well during the show. This is the moment when the police had to start arresting people. Again, this is also credit goes to the Telegraph for providing this clip. Let's go. Stop resisting. They don't understand those words. Because apparently resistance is justified. Let's not forget. Now, a lot of people are worried about tomorrow, 7th of October, the anniversary. But we've already seen what's happening in London. A lot of people in London are afraid. A lot of people have moved out of London, especially Jews. But we still have a small group of very politically active now, and they weren't politically active a year ago. These counter-protests started small. If you remember, we reported this on 2CTV the first time, second time, third time. They grew and grew and grew. And the main group, of course, which includes people like Niak Robani, the Iranian counter-protester who came up with the idea of that sign, Hamas is terrorist, and he kept getting arrested on a regular basis. And of course, the rest of the Jewish community as well in London. They were out as usual, but we also had the British English Christians, as well as the small group of British Patriots, all in 3 different groups, 3 different corners, doing their counter-protests. And again, the whole point is, it's important to say small group, to remind people that the majority are either afraid or still burying their heads in the sand, afraid to come out to stand up to these guys, and burying their heads in the sand because they think there is no problem in this country. But these guys come out all the time to send a message to those who are afraid, saying, don't be afraid, we're all in this together. And of course, if it comes to it, we have to defend our country, even if we disagree on political issues, on certain things. Let's
Let's do Netanyahu!
So that was the first group. That was just Niak Robani and his friends, and there's usually a few of them, about five. Usually it's two of them, but I think this time they grew. The other side, towards Holborn, we had, of course, the bigger group with the Israeli flags, the Union flags, and everything else, which we will show you. And one thing is that around Whitehall, we've started to see the Christian side as well, with the symbols of crusades and everything else coming out to do this. And it's funny how when the majority in the crowd who are the pro-Islamists in these, almost every Saturday now, they are threatened by a small group of counter-protesters. It is quite interesting how angry they get, but also gleeful. Look at that woman. They love it because they were out there yesterday to also celebrate the anniversary. They were dancing around, like this woman dancing around, being happy. This is not going to stop. Like these guys laughing around, right? They claim that they care about innocent civilians. They don't care about innocent civilians. They didn't even know where Gaza was until now. Let's go to this video of this group, see what they're doing. Yeah, of course. Racist jokes and comments and songs about the Jews. That's normal, apparently, in 2024 London. These are the people who claim to be anti-racism. I mean, it's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. This woman, one of the Champagne socialists, went up to the police and the counter-protesters saying Hamas are not terrorists. Literally and legally they are. Morally they are. But legally also in the UK, they are. I don't care what you say. They are. But apparently she likes her United Nations and she likes the issues with the international obligations.
International law. Hamas are not terrorists. Why don't you dig a big hole and jump in?
International law. Hamas are not terrorists. Did she say dig a hole and jump into it? How compassionate, how lovely, how smelly. Okay. Rachel posted this, saying this is the most disturbing video I have seen from today's march. What disturbs me most is not the screams of Tel Aviv, or the settlers to the ground. No, what disturbs me most is that no one, either participating or viewing the march, is expressing even a fraction of the horror. I mean, that's a good point. Let's quickly show you this video that we're talking about, because it is quite disturbing.
Go bomb Tel Aviv!
Hezbollah, make us proud!
Burn the settlers to the ground!
Hezbollah, make us proud!
Burn the settlers to the ground!
Hezbollah, make us proud!
Burn the settlers to the ground!
Hezbollah make us proud, apparently. As you guys know, obviously I've been to these marches and we've spoken to a few people. The people who are not necessarily Islamists themselves. They're like Champagne socialists or the far left in general. Some of them are just random people who get convinced that this is a very important day to go and support innocent people. And I've seen their faces when they walk around with these guys and when they start chanting nonsense. Sometimes they don't know what's going on, because when the crowd start chanting from the river to the sea or global intifada, they don't know what it means. They just dance around and clap around like idiots. But how long will it take for them to actually realize what that means? We've been talking about this. Even the mainstream media have been talking about what these signs, what these chants mean. This man targeting these guys again, saying baby killers, sea suckers, and everything else. It's become a bit of a normal situation right now in London.
Baby killers, yeah.
Terrorist sympathisers is what you are.
In a bit, Rafi.
Fucking state. You cocksuckers, all of you. Yeah.
Baby killers.
Disgusting. Whereabouts are they? Andrew Sen, where are they? Oi, where are they?
They're coming.
Come back.
Do you know where the masjids are?
What was he saying to me? I make that dustbin together.
You thought that you were talking about the nice ones.
Lovely, right? It's not really, it hasn't been dealt with. Yesterday, for example, the Metropolitan Police last night confirmed that the total number of arrests was 17. Should have been more, by the way. They are now hunting down more of them today, try to identify the criminals. 3 of them for assaulting the emergency workers. 2 of them supporting a proscribed organization. 2 of them? Really? Thousands of them supported a proscribed organization. Thousands. 3 for common assault. 8 for public order offense. 4 of them were just racist, basically. And 1 breach of Public Order Act conditions. It's insane. Officers spotted a man in Whitehall wearing what appeared to be a parachute. He has been arrested on suspicion of wearing or displaying an article indicating support for a proscribed organization. Parachute. 2 days before, this was yesterday, 2 days before the anniversary of the 7th of October. We had these signs. I love Hezbollah. The rockets may be above us, but they have forgotten that Alan is above them. Alan. That's Allah. Insane. We're going to get some reaction to this as well. Of course, as I said, we have a busy day on 2CTV. We have to, well, after this, we're going to take a break, come back and talk about Sue Gray, as you might have already know what's been going on with Sue Gray. We're going to talk about Hezbollah last night. Fascinating stuff in Lebanon. They were completely hammered. And of course, everything else that in the news for you guys. Let's get some reaction from the beautiful freedom fighters. First, super chat from Ghost Rider. Thank you very much, saying, Maya, do you think they will come out to disrupt the rally on the 26th? Yes and no. So they always come out. Every time, this is about, obviously, our rally that we've organized for the 26th of October in London, in Westminster, outside Downing Street, with Tommy and the rest of the team. They're always there. But obviously the police keep them away, and they never really get close to where we are. But they're going to have the usual crowd there. But the main people always get told to stay away. They're told, don't worry about it, Hope Not Hate and all the others. We're going to get the police to arrest the far-right thugs, as they call them. So the left don't really have to do much, because the state will do their job anyway, to disrupt our rallies. But it will be peaceful, it will be fine anyway, as usual, as you've seen the last 2-3 that we've done. A super sticker from David, thank you very much. And Stu, there we go, says, activism is fashion. The kafir is the new beret. Actually, so true. It's especially those who don't know what intifada means, what river, what sea. They just chant around, clap around, think that it's fun. Barbara says, how many of the 17 will be fast-tracked by the full force of the law? I'm gonna guess -1. None of them will be fast-tracked. There is no urgency. Sheila says, we are under attack within our country. Don't let this end up being our 9/11. Be aware of your surroundings at all times, people. True? When is the retardation going to end in the UK, my ancestors' homeland? So there's this problem historically with human beings, because we are always tribal. That's why we have nations. That's why we have borders and flags. That's why our homes have doors and windows and walls. The problem here is that, based on human nature, when you have an enemy that want to destroy you, you keep them out. And when they go close, you get worried, you get scared. But what's been happening in the West over the last few decades, when the enemy has been invited in and then they've started causing chaos inside your home, we seem to be very chilled about it. I'm not talking about me or you guys. I'm talking about the wider society. Everybody, the masses, from the political establishment to ordinary voters, you would have thought that about 10 years ago, there should have been absolute outrage. or fear. But no, some people have left London. Some people have left Paris because Paris is not safe. But the whole system still pretends that everything's fine. Paris is just the same Paris you had 50 years ago, apparently. London is apparently still London. It's not the Islamic State of London. There is no panic yet. Jared says, well done highlighting the Champagne socialists and their support for the Terroristanis from Terroristan. That's a good one. And Peter says, thanks Maya for reporting about the riots. It's disgusting how people are completely infiltrated with Jew hatred. It's sickening. Blackfish Blues, thank you for your super chat, saying yesterday there was a peaceful pro-Palestine rally in Rome. Yes, I've seen the clips from Rome as well. We'll talk about that at some point. There were about 40 wounded, and just 2 days before the October 7th anniversary. Real good taste, no bad conscience. So this refers to, if you haven't seen, I'm going to post the clips on the channel at some point. The scenes that we saw last night in Rome, it was on a whole different level. I showed you the bit of violence that we had yesterday in London, right? A few people got arrested. More will be arrested, but a lot more should be arrested, but they won't, by the police in London. But Rome was a war zone. It was bad. It was extremely dangerous. We've seen these sort of dangerous situations in France, in Germany, in the Netherlands, in Canada. We've started to see them finally in London. We've had verbal violence and a lot of weird stuff about chanting pro-genocide. But yesterday, of course, the London jihadis, they got a little bit more violence with the police and the counter-protesters. It's just going to get worse. By the way, YouTube forced me to censor Palestine. I don't think so, because I always put Palestine in the titles, and I can see a lot of Palestine in the comment section as well, in the live chats. But sometimes maybe it happens, I don't know. Now, we're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to ask a favor. If you have just joined this channel recently, we've gained so many new subscribers. We're getting closer to 700,000 subscribers. Tomorrow, we have a very big update on the future of 2CTV. In the meantime, I would like for you guys to support us so we could carry on being independent. Otherwise, I'm going to go sell out to the vested interest. If you want to join our independent platform, 2CTV Plus, you can go on 2ctvplus.tv to join to get access to our uncensored, ad-free shows and documentaries and chat forum if you want to talk to me directly. Later today, we are going to be talking it on 2C Talks on the voice channel on our chat forum, 2ctvplus.tv. If you would like to join that, the link is also in the description. Tomorrow we have a big update in regards to that, of course, about what's been going on with the channel and where we are going to be. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.